I want a new start for me and my son. It's time to start a new chapter.
Love isn't just a word. It's about how you show up. Sometimes things don't go the way you plan.
I'm not the one who's causing all the damage around here.
The only way we're gonna change Chicago is if we do it from the inside.
Feel like we're on the right track. Keep it up.
You smelling all this, Gary?
Love that smell, KG.
See, this is what retirement's all about. Slowing down, smelling stuff, like these. This smells like, covering the spread, baby! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about! What are you looking at, Gary? Stop looking at my flowers, Gary. Avert your eyes. You from LA, right?
Yeah, well, I was born on the East Coast.
Right. But you grew up out this way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like, you used to be up at UCLA when we used to be in that burning, right?
Yeah, I got some stories for you.
Yeah.
It made me try to guard you when you came out there. You came out there for the summer.
I love that, man. Listen, my favorite time of the year was the summer. You know why? Because, everybody come up to UCLA with their boys, their dad. Chris Mills coming there with his pops. He coming there.
Big Claw, yeah.
Bro, that's my favorite time of the year, man.
So they made me guard you, and I'm just like, what the fuck y'all doing, man? Like, you not like you a 4, he a 4. Like, all
What
right.
year is this?
Between 02, 03-ish, I think.
Just moved out here.
Yeah, because that was like your first summer kind of out there balling with us. And I remember you had to try to guard your ass. I'm just like, oh, man, fuck it.
Listen, I used to get, man, I'm going blank over everybody. Man, all the young UCLA, y'all, just a bunch of y'all in there. Everybody just in there. That's when Barron's in.
Yeah, it's
like I can just remember like a whole, younger generation just eager to hoop. And it was probably one of my favorite times of the year because the young guys, because I was once a young guy, and then I started seeing like younger guys coming behind. So yeah, those are some of the magical summers, man.
Nah, that was probably my favorite. Because it was obviously you, Paul, all the older dudes are kind of still transitioning. My older brother Chris was out there fucking with y'all.
Yeah.
Like Matt, TJ, Earl, all that whole crew.
Remember that.
Guys that just kind of went to the league that were coming back through and pulling up, but...
Do they still hoop at UCLA? Still run?
Look, like back in the day it was like 3 to 5, then it started being like 3:30 to 4:45, then it was like 3:45 to 4:40, and then they were doing like the St. Monica run. So I don't know, I think they've kind of brought it back a little bit. Like Rico basically brought it back.
Really?
Did his shit.
I saw some footage of DeMar.
Yeah.
DeMar was up there, and somebody had cut up a little clip of him just, killing up at UCLA. It looked like UCLA.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
They still hoop out.
They brought the team, like the Raptors would come through there, the Suns would come through there when Earl was there, D-Book and all those guys. It was more like team-centric, then other guys would hoop and play too, but they were still doing it.
A lot of Clippers start bringing their teams up there, working guys out, all that good stuff. Tell me about your path, man. I know, I asked you, I know you was raised on the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
And, you coming from a Hall of Fame family, man. Shout out to your dad, man. Tell me what that was like, man. What was that like growing up, man?
So it was wild. So my mom is from the East Coast. They met, I think when he was like in 77, he was player of the year out in the East Coast. Had me, took a little bit for them to get married and all that. So we moved out here in like 85. He got traded from the Bucks to the Clippers.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we kind of moved all out here. Settled up. We were living in Bel Air, so you look at Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Around that time, I was somewhat living that life. Then we ended up moving to View Park because my older brother Chris went to Crenshaw.
Okay.
So he was at the school Montclair Prep, wanted to go to Crenshaw. Pops moved the whole family back to his first spot he had out here in View Park. Settled down out there, But it was great, man. It's crazy. Funny story, first time I ever met you, and I know you won't remember this, but I always see you and Paul talking about the K-Swiss IA, SAA Pacer Day.
Yeah.
So I was on the younger squad. I was like 11, 10 or 11 under. And I remember, like, my brother had played in a round ball joint, and he came back with the roster, the little brochure.
Magazine joint,
So I used to always just go through that as a kid, we'd read all of the rosters and look at all the dudes, and obviously, like, everybody knew who you were back then. So I remember, I think we were at, like, the Hilton or whatever it was in Vegas, but you kind of pulled up to play with Paul in that tournament, and we all knew who you were. We all, we're just in heaven looking at you like a god. Like, we were 11-year-old kids. So when they tell the circus story, like, we was all there too, no money, just walking around Midway, no bread whatsoever, but everybody's still just having a good time and making fun of it. But, you know, I remember we would go to y'all games at night after we played our games, and y'all just would shut the gym down, man. That shit was wild.
Yeah, we was on the ban list for a minute in Vegas, man. You know what I'm saying? Just to throw that out there. Like, I didn't know how to jump out of a cab. Like, I was a little country boy, man. Them Inglewood kids killed me, man. Turn, Paul, all the, you know what I'm saying? Had me jumping out of cabs, but man, that was my first time ever to Vegas, and that was probably one of the more electric tournaments I've ever been to, man.
Like old school days. Was that UNLV, but they didn't play in Thomas and Mack. I think it was like the other little auxiliary gym, but that gym used to be jumping, man.
I met the Collins twins there. I had seen Simeon, these kids from Missouri. I don't know if y'all know this kid, but they used to call it Simeon and Sammy. I'm going blank on their last name, but they was like, you remember them kids?
Yeah.
They was like twin 7 foot, like crazy. So when I seen the Collins brothers, I was like, oh, wow, okay. Like, damn, you know, I saw J.R. Henderson. I was a huge J.R. Henderson fan. 16, handling it, put on the floor, threes. He was before his time.
So J.R., my brother, came up playing with Bob Gottlieb and Doug Gottlieb and that whole crew.
Okay.
But I used to go out there with tournaments and stuff, so they ended up going to UCLA together. Actually beat the twins. They were at Mizzou, right, in '95 when they won the Natty.
Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly.
Man, listen, this is crazy, man.
That's all wild stuff, man, going back down memory lane, kind of just tracking all that stuff, man. But it was, like, I think about, like, Thad and that crew. Barron was on the younger team, so we would go mess around with Barron and stuff, get in trouble. We weren't supposed to be in his room hanging out. Just, you know, BD would be doing what BD does, but...
Classic shit, man. I love it, man. I love it, man. You got a whole brand, man. Tell me how you even came up with this, man, because you like the hot... I like to call you... I used to call Jared Dudley Twitter man, but you're Twitter man.
I appreciate
you are the Twitter man. Tell me how you even get into this, bro.
So I went to college. I played with like 13 dudes who went to the league, kind of realized I wasn't going to be one of them dudes, so I had to figure my life out. So I was there with like Matt Barnes, Earl, finished up with like Jordan Farmar, Aaron Aflalo, that crew. They were all freshmen when I was a senior, but was always interested in entertainment, man. Growing up out here, Pops was blessed to send me to this school called UES, which is on UCLA's campus. Okay. But went to school with all these, you know, talented kids, like Steven Spielberg's kids went there, a bunch of random kids. Norm Nixon, who was my dad's teammate with the Clippers, his wife, Debbie Allen. So Debbie was running shit in Hollywood, still is, but she was doing a different world at that time. So we would
content school, like a film school.
Well, no, it was an elementary school, but it was super artistic, like creative and stuff. But you know, I was good friends with Debbie's kids and Norm's kids, so we would get picked up together in carpool and go get shot out to the different world set. So I'd be, you know, chilling with them on set. Jada Pinkett, I remember she came on like season 3 or season 4, and I'd just be like fascinated with her, like, yo, she was so talented and young and cool, but spending time, you know, just on the set, seeing how basically the sausage was made, being behind the scenes, and seeing Debbie as this like voice of God. She would be in the control room while the show was going on, but she would pop up and give directions like on the PA system, and just always being fascinating. Kind of that was just normal for me, right? To see black excellence even at that stage. So me wanting to kind of, you know, figure out something in that lane. And then like 3rd or 4th grade, I was taking like film school classes with this kid, Jason Schwartzman, who went on to be a super talented actor. Like Rushmore, a bunch of other stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he was writing scripts as like a 10, 11-year-old. We would act in, and we did like Lethal Weapons poops and all types of random crazy shit then that I still got tapes for. But so I started doing that stuff, man, and then was blessed and fortunate to start working in like entertainment industry, sports entertainment, NFL Network, Fox Sports, doing some stuff with SHOWTIME. And the whole time I was doing that, I started a website called Jersey Chaser, which was basically like, you look at like Bleacher Report nowadays or SB Nation or any of these kind of big spots. We were doing that way back in the day. Memes and shit, we didn't know. We just wanted to make funny pictures, so I just wanted something to engage fans and viewers of the site. Ended up creating an animated series for Comedy Central called Legends of Chamberlain Heights that I got to star in and write and produce and do a bunch of cool stuff. So I'd always just been fascinated by it, but I kind of learned when I was doing that show kind of what the other side of Hollywood's like, man. Like, you know, they definitely tried to play us, and you know, we were just happy to be there, but we started learning about the money side and the business side, and kind of like, wait a minute, like everybody else's checks are way bigger than ours, but we doing all the work, like what's going down? So that show got canceled, and then, you know, I went through a period where I didn't work for a while, nobody was really fucking with me. So I was just like, look, man, I'm gonna do this shit myself. Like, I'm really just go out there and get it. So I saw Twitter and social media really just like this new frontier, new lane where you could just do whatever you wanted, right? Nobody tell you what to do. And that's good and bad. Obviously, I've done a lot of great shit, done a lot of shit that obviously I regret as well, kind of, you know, but that's just a part of the game.
Part of it,
yeah, it's just part of it.
Variety, man.
So started doing that stuff, and then just thankful to be in the spot I'm in, because it's opened up so many doors and windows. You know, back in the old days, people like yourself, they were taking all the TV jobs, right? You had to be a Hall of Famer, And now people like myself, we can get a little slice of that. You know, people like Perk, you know, you see the Draymond and Perk shit going on now.
That's
but
crazy, right?
You know, but people like myself are now able to carve a lane. I'm doing a show with Gil now, hosting a show with this company Wave called Out of Pocket, doing some stuff with NBA on TNT
Congrats.
and NBA Twitter Live. So really, that's the same thing I kind of preach to these people that are coming up now in the game is like, you can control your own destiny. Now, you don't got to be a slave to a corporation that really don't give a fuck about you, that'll, you know, lay you off, cut your head to keep their overhead down, and while they're all getting bonuses and shit. Like, you can make your own lane and kind of create your own brand.
Hey, have you heard about the KG certified risk-free parlay at BetMGM? Just place a 3-leg parlay on any sport, and if the bet loses, you get your money back in free bets and up to $25. The King of Sportsbooks is where it's at. With live betting, boosted odds specials, and amazing promos all year, no matter what your favorite sport is. Sign up or log into your BetMGM account and opt into the KG certified risk-free parlay today. Hey! How you doing?
Good morning, welcome. My name's Melissa. I'm happy to show you around Aria Sky Suites. We'll take you right in.
Let's do it.
As we walk through Sky Suites, you'll see we've got a lounge that we offer to our guests. We're available to them 24 hours a day.
24 hours?
And now we'll head right over to our dedicated elevators, right up to our newly renovated suites. I can't wait to hear from you once you walk in. This is a 2-bedroom penthouse suite.
Look how that stadium just landscapes and how this looks, yo. Damn, this is a dope-ass view.
We have a lot of guests that like to celebrate special occasions.
This is like a little condo almost.
I'm glad you like it.
Are you seeing people travel again, people back into our own kind of state? Think we're back where we
Yes, they're ready to enjoy and, you know, stay at properties like this where we have so many things to offer.
That's a good sign. That's
Yes,
a really
it
good
is.
sign.
We're happy about it, and the guests are happy about it too.
That's what's up.
The gentleman that designed this space, he was very much inspired by the desert landscape that surrounds us. Yes, and so you can see a lot of that in the wall coverings, the desaturated tones, the clean lines, just making it feel very sophisticated, timeless, but also very comfortable for our guests.
How big is this?
About 1,400 square feet. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm glad you like it.
This is fly, yo.
Thank you for visiting us.
I'm a huge fan of the Nomad restaurant.
This is the Nomad Library. Isn't this cool?
Damn, I feel like Bruce Wayne in this motherfucker, straight up. Like, this is, damn.
Over 20,000 books that we have here.
This is right on time, right here.
We did inherit a good piece of Rockefeller's personal collection.
Oh, wow.
And developed this space. You know, we took a warehouse in New Jersey and we put together a mock setup of this, and kind of this is what it came to. So if you look right over here in the corner, this is gonna simulate a sunset and a sunrise. So you start from the darker part of the room and you go all the way in circle, and you'll see where it kind of turns into the daytime right around behind us with some of these blues and greens up against this wall.
Dope bar, look at this. It's lit, beautiful. I probably had the best food experience I ever had in my life. 46 years in you guys' restaurant in New York. So I just want to pay homage to that, man. Probably one of the more cooler rooms I've ever seen.
It brings a really fun, energetic Vegas entertainment for that kind of after-hours jazz experience.
Man, this is beautiful. This makes you want to have a library if you don't have a library. It almost feels like a cigar room, right?
We want to provide that like white glove service without the white gloves. You got to come to Vegas, you got to do something big.
How many people come in here and have the same reaction that all of us had?
Every single one. During the Grammys, we had a record label come in and rent out the whole space and, you know, did their own after-hours parties from the Grammys. It was incredible. It was a really fun event.
Man, damn, it's impressive.
I'm so glad that you like it. This is a great spot right before you're going to like a hockey game across the street at T-Mobile. It's a cocktail for two.
Oh, okay, I got you. Oh, I see it. I'm gonna have to give me one of these. It's like a lounge feel in here.
Yeah.
Like that. Appreciate you giving me a tour on all this, man, seriously.
I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Let me take you upstairs and show you some of the suites.
Let's check it out.
We'll head on up.
Let's get it.
Our rooms here at Nomad Las Vegas bring that residential comfort, that home away from home. The design of the space is that French, European studio kind of feel. Yeah, I really want you to feel that residential comfort. So this is kind of what I was telling you about bringing that Nomad library feel into it. Every single room at Nomad has a unique art program.
All the art in here is like, mwah, you know what I'm saying? Seriously.
You can never really get away from Vegas, but this gives you that opportunity to come relax, and when you're ready to go to Vegas, you step outside the door and you're ready to have a good time.
You know what? I'm gonna have to come through here and get an experience in this.
Absolutely.
Like have like a whole Vegas, like 3-4 day weekend. Just come in here, have a little staycation.
How's your pool game?
My pool game is subpar.
I agree. Same here.
Super subpar. Some of these rooms feel like home. Some of these got a roomy feel to it, you know? Damn, man. And I love the personality of these rooms. One of the flyest hotels I've seen in a very long time. All y'all out there aspiring to like build a home or for a room or something, man, come through here. Come through the Nomad in Vegas, man. Check it out, man.
We're on the 29th floor of MGM. This is a Skylofts.
Wow, look at this, dog.
Tony Chi was the designer.
Holy snap. I feel like I'm in like a museum.
So we're rated 5-star with Forbes, and a lot of our clientele will range from some of the casino customers, we'll get some convention, and then we'll get some locals here that'll just do kind of a staycation. It's taking care of all those service nuance and touch points for our clientele. MGM Resort, it's all about a culture of yes. And I will tell you, we focus on all the details. Please, after you.
Oh, yes, thank you. These views, man. Hey, you know, you actually got some shade out here, eh?
I would tell you, man, at night, it is spectacular.
This is spectacular, right? That's the perfect word for this. So this is the hot tub up here?
We call it the plunge pool.
It's almost all right out here today.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. Staying in shape is important.
It is.
And we can change a lot of the equipment out as needed.
Health is important.
I 100%.
Tall showers in here.
I love it.
I gotta come to Vegas more, way more.
You are the man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
So we in here, MGM, salute. The originality of what you're coming up with is coming from you. A lot of the stuff that, you know, you spoof on, a lot of stuff. By the way, you also are the meme king, too. You know what I'm saying? Your memes are fucking crazy, dog. I love your creativity and your originality, man. Talk about, just controlling your own narrative, you know? Is that the new business right now? That's the new business.
We live in a great world now where, like, I do everything in a vacuum. So everything I do, I put out to the universe. I create everything. I don't got no team. Everybody's always like, you got a crew or team? So there's a lot of shit I miss. I'm just gonna miss it. But the stuff that I do see, that I'm engaged with, that I like, I'm watching NBA games, playoffs, finals, whatever it may be, even some lacrosse, like random shit, whatever I like to do.
Facts.
I could put out content in that space, man, and really, you know, engage with fans, build an audience, you know, been able to get people like yourself, people like LeBron, Steph Curry, KD to kind of get on board and follow this stuff, man. And it's just, for me, like when I first started out, and this is stuff I've learned in my growing process, like we kind of have I don't want to say disrespectful, but more like a pettier type of approach where as I've gotten older, man, it's just a respect for what you guys do and also the mental health side of it, right?
Gotcha.
Like a guy like Kevin Love or DeMar and those guys, talking about the impact Westbrook, obviously, and kind of, you know, what happened with him and the Lakers this year. So just to try to be more respectful so when guys in the locker room and they're looking at stuff, they can laugh at it too.
Right.
Like I never attack players anymore, I just go after teams. Teams playing bad, I'm not gonna single out a player, I'm just gonna keep it more broad and team focused, but also getting the jokes in. I think that's why people respect me, because like LeBron's my favorite player, but LeBron does something that we got to clown or we got to bring attention to.
He's human.
Yeah, he's, you know, well, I'm going to do it in a respectful way, though,
Gotcha.
obviously, because I'm going to have to see him at some point, but also just knowing that, you know, I'm going to see you guys on these streets now, so stuff when y'all see me, it ain't, you know, ain't no smoke, ain't no beef, and nothing like that. It's just all love and respect.
It's all in fun, too,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's
right. It's coming from a good place, and
it's
ain't no
locker room.
detrimental, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like jokes, right?
You're in the locker room with 12, 15 guys, you know, you're going through a long season, you're going to have to do those things to keep you sane. So you might crack jokes on a haircut or an outfit that somebody may wear too many times or a pair of shoes that they might have thought were cooler than they were, whatever it is, but all done in good fun. And me, if I put it out there, I got to be able to take it too. So, you know, I'm definitely receive a lot of it too and just kind of can laugh it off.
I like that you got the player locker room mentality. You understand that whole flow, how players play, how we all joke.
Yeah.
I know you're following everything that's going on. Let me hear your thoughts on some of the trending stuff, man. Are you watching the Kyrie to the Lakers, all that?
Well, I mean, yeah, it feels like over the course of like 6-7 hours, it was Kyrie's going to do a sign and trade. And Kyrie's the only human being, right, that you know, that 36 mil, when he wasn't gonna opt in, he was just gonna take the $6 million taxpayer.
Oh.
He's the only dude where you would hear that and be like, yeah, he could do some shit like that, and I wouldn't really be surprised by it. But obviously he opted in. We'll see, you know, what's gonna go on in Lakerland. Obviously it was Lakers fans, you know, they love photoshopping whoever. It don't matter if they're realistic. Like last year, we kind of did a whole Steph to LA thing just to piss off Warriors fans and fuck with them. But you know, I got faith in Pelinka, Genie. I rock with Darvin Ham. Definitely, my dad works for the Bucks, so I've got to meet Darvin a few times. And I like what he brings to the table. Obviously, Rasheed Wallace coming to that squad now.
Yep.
He's going to help get AD where he needs to be. But that's the best part about the NBA. That's why I try to tell people, season's great. Season's always going to be what it is. But as soon as that offseason hits, so much shit can happen. You know, you got Kyrie on the BET Award red carpet, you know, non-committal if he wants to be a Brooklyn Net. A day later, he opted into his contract. Now he's a Brooklyn Net. So just the fun that we can have. And me, I just care about the joke. So I may be wrong about some shit, but ultimately, in that moment, I had to get the joke off. I couldn't let it linger because, you know, 8 hours from now, that shit might be old.
Might be old, right, and that fast. Like you said it earlier, I'm watching the Perk and Draymond back and forth. My 2 cents on it, and then I'll let you go. I don't like when the media actually attacks personal character or get into the lane. Man, we talking about moves, we talking about, you know, decision making, we talking about skill level, game decisions. I feel like that's fair game. You know, I'm critiquing your game, you critiquing mine, you speak it. When you start getting into individual name calling or you start, you know, talking about the individual, man, and making it a little more personal, I think sometimes it comes off personal, at least when I'm watching it or reads, you know what I mean? Give me your take on the media and how you see it.
So media, new media, look, I'm a fan of Draymond, a fan of Perk. I respect Draymond, especially everything the Warriors dealt with those past 2 years. Not making the playoffs, obviously they had a chip on their shoulder.
Grinding. You
win the championship, you get to talk your shit. You know better than anybody. You win, you get to say whatever you want.
Facts.
I think Perk has a job to do. He works obviously at ESPN, and sometimes I'm even guilty of it too. You start working in these spots, and this shit is like a drug, man. You know, you start putting these clips out, they want your opinion, you get produced a certain way. These are the talking points, topics. You start gassing up a little bit. Is Perk guilty of that? On occasion, but nothing to warrant, you know, being called the C word by Draymond. I think that definitely crossed the line. And I mean, I think Draymond got to be the bigger man here, apologize. And Perk, you know, talking about, you know, that beef goes back to pom-poms in the finals, and it's been going on and lingering for a while. And Perk is a good stand-up dude. I think, you know, obviously he works in the position, and it's funny, man. When Perk first got the job, people weren't really fucking with him. They didn't think he was gonna last. This dude's a joke. He's not gonna do this. He's not gonna do that. But one thing even about your Celtics days, I'm a big LeBron guy, but you had to respect those teams, right? Because the tenacity, the fire, I think that was engineered by yourself. You know, going and watching the doc and just, you know, I'm the silverback and all that type of shit. But this is like, you know, you have to have a respect for that squad and what it takes to become a champion. And I'll see people on the internet, man, this shit really fascinates me. They'll say things like, well, shit, Perk only won 1 championship. And I'm saying, motherfucker, how many championships did you win at any level? And I'm not talking about NBA or college or high school. I'm rec leagues. Like, you know, and it's just the way that they kind of downplay all that stuff. So Draymond obviously talking about the new media and not chasing controversy. One week and next week you calling somebody a coon and all that type of shit. It's like, that. If you don't want to chase controversy, that should have chased you. Like, it found you. So for me, I think he's got to be the bigger man and apologize. They got to squash it out because, you know, Perk making video before when he told Draymond he ain't cute and all that good stuff, but he had to put up the edited version. He just dropped the super profane, unedited version, didn't take it down. It lets you know that he was obviously bothered by that shit. So, you know, I don't want to see it get in any violent situation or something like that. And, you know, I've seen kind of, you know, I've been at events when Draymond's gotten into some shit in years past, and it's like, you know, you don't want to go that route, man. So I hope they can squash or figure it out. And ultimately, too, just as black men in America, right? It's not the image you want to project. They both have kids, you know what I mean? Their kids might end up being
teammates,
teammates.
You never know, right? AAU, it's a small world. And it's basketball at the end of the day.
And it just crosses the line. And yeah, if you don't agree with somebody's opinion or taste, you might tell me some shit and I might not agree with you, but I'm not gonna call you out your name or disrespect you. First and foremost, I don't want to have to see you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got the reach over me. There's not really much I can do. There's not really much I can do in that situation, but both those two dudes, it's just not, you know, be professional about it. New media, old media, whatever it is, just have that level of respect for each other. But I see it, and it's like, Dre, if you're gonna come at somebody, you know, come at some of these other dudes, you know, that you know, I think about Skip Bayless calling Russell Westbrook Westbrick. And it's like, Skip, you average 2 points on JV, my guy. Like, if you want to talk about Westbricking, and it's like, don't fall into that trap where you're trying to be those guys as opposed to just being yourself. Like, I have a I do a show with Gil, right? And Gil's always like, man, you should jump in these conversations more.
Shout out to No Chill.
Shout out to Gil, No Chill.
Right.
But what I tell Gil is like, Gil, I've never been an NBA player. I've never been in those locker rooms, practice, all the stuff that you know. So when you have other guys here, I'm not going to jump in like I know, because I just don't, I respect y'all too much and what y'all done.
It's real.
But I will ask questions like a fan would to understand better, and I think that's an important thing that Draymond touched on, and Perk as well, using people, and even yourself in those positions, to help people understand and educate them and make them more knowledgeable about. Because you let Twitter or kind of social media tell it, they have one perspective of how shit goes.
And it's reality.
And then you ask somebody like yourself, well, what really happened on that play? Oh, X, Y, or Z.
Facts.
It's like, I'll never understand that level, so I try to not be judgmental from that standpoint and be more understanding and embrace what basketball culture really is. And from the people like yourself who have done it at the highest level, and now shit, I'm gonna tell you, we can't really have an argument about hoops, because I'm gonna shut the fuck up, because that's your space. Now, we talking social media, memes, things like that, then yeah, I can have a little bit more of a voice on that side. But ultimately, I think with them two, man, they gotta squash it out privately, publicly, however they gotta do it. But you could see that Perk was hurt, right? Perk responded right away. And it's 2 minute long. He didn't mess up no names, no stumble. He was locked in.
That was flowing.
So neither one of those are dudes that I would want to mess with. So I think it's not good for us as a community, especially everything going on in the world right now. Hopefully they can figure it out, squash it.
I think they will. I think both of them are geniuses at knowing what they're doing too.
Yeah.
Keeping momentum alive, being able to have people in tune, stimulated. Is social media the new voice? Is it the new takeover? I'm watching programs on ABC, NBC, all our favorite big conglomerates, Fox, Showtime, all this, right? And at the end of the day, everybody's caring about what's going on social media, whether it's through your phone, whether it's through the computer, whoever. Is that the new wave? That's where we are right now?
Look, social media is giving people a lot more control over their brand, over their narrative, and that's, I think, a good thing. But it's also, if I ask, somebody to make a doc on themselves or whatever, they might not hit all the shit that they would, somebody else would talk about. They're going to sugarcoat it. They're going to give the best version of what it is. And for me, I understand both sides of it, because, when I was growing up as a kid, I would read newspaper articles and take that shit as gospel, right?
Oh, wow.
Somebody might have said you were this, that, or whatever in the locker room, or reports or rumors or whatever, not really realizing, oh, there's agents at play, there's teams, there's bread involved here. So they're going to craft stories, narratives to benefit themselves. We see it a lot of times now. I think about like when the AD trade, before it happened, one side was saying, oh, the Lakers are getting fleeced, another side was, pro Pelicans, whatever. Whatever it is, like, you got to just take a step back now and realize that there's always somebody behind it. When this news is getting reported, it's coming from somewhere.
Right.
So back in the day, you might hear guys a locker room cancer or this, that, or whatever. Oh, maybe the team just don't want to pay him as much, so that's the narrative we're going to pump through the media that we have control of. And now I think social is really giving players a voice and an ability to stand on their own feet, which is good and bad. It's also created a real kind of toxic environment where a lot of people think they can say whatever the fuck they want without any accountability. Now I go create an account, put a fake name, make it a burner. I can say whatever I want to because I know I don't got to see you. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, like, I don't talk shit to Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson could whoop my ass. So why am I going to do that? That just don't make no sense, right? But these people nowadays, they don't move like that.
Right.
Because I can create a fake account. I can go tell KG, fuck you, or whatever. I mean, I've had motherfuckers wish cancer on me, tell me how my kids died, shit like that. And then you see these people in real life, and it's all just playing with it. It's like, nah, man, ain't no just playing with this shit. And that's something I had to learn too when I was coming up, just to be respectful. Like, again, we don't gotta agree on shit, we don't gotta align on shit, we can have completely different opinions. We can talk GOAT debates, whatever, but don't let that basketball take now spill over into some shit that, is gonna create a problem for you in the real world.
Right. I'm gonna ask you this. Were you shocked when the Warriors won?
Honestly, I think that squad, for me, them not having Clay, it's like Clay coming back made them whole again. I think you got that trio of Draymond, Clay, and Steph. Everything they've done for the league, kind of that monkey on their back that they couldn't win without KD. Wasn't really shocked. I'm a big Andrew Wiggins fan, too. A lot of people kind of wanted to tag him as a bust. I think he's had a super solid career.
Facts.
And it's tough when you play in situations that maybe aren't the most favorable, playing for teams that aren't the most favorable. But, my former teammate at UCLA, Matt Barnes, just spoke so highly of that organization and the work they put in compared to some other places he's been, right? Sometimes, I don't know, you've probably seen it, too. Some dudes don't show up to practice till 10 minutes before, be the first ones out, right? Where this squad, guys were showing up early, staying late, everybody was getting their work in, and just that kind of just mystique. And then as an organization, them taking care of players, taking care of families, really understanding that component, that becoming a family. And, I'm a big fan of Bob Myers. He played with my brother at UCLA, so I've known Bob from back in the day when he was dropping 20 piece on Oregon State as a walk-on, fan favorite. But I think not a surprise per se, as more just, happy to see, as much as I'm a LeBron Lakers guy and don't want the Warriors to win, happy just to see them playing a high level basketball and happy to see Steph now taking that next step, winning finals MVP. Yeah. Like, Steph fans are annoying as shit, right? But we rock with Steph. Right. I think that's something Steph needs to understand. We love Steph fans, but LeBron fans, I've seen periods and I've been a part of periods where it was just straight delusion, talking crazy, reckless, going at each other. Now that I'm older, I can kind of take a step back now and just respect the game, but also from the standpoint of even seeing people like yourself, you play out your whole career. Like, that's, one of the first players, like, from 96 on, like, I got to watch you play a whole entire career of basketball as an adult. Right. And now I'm seeing this with LeBron and Steph. And for me, it's just appreciating. Like, I wasn't a big Kobe fan, but even Kobe's kind of last years, seeing what he meant to the city of LA, just seeing what he meant to basketball, and, going out with a 60-piece and just how amazing, incredible. And you still think about that to this day, man. It'll still kind of bring tears to my eyes just to think about, that last game going out. Lakers didn't have a great year that year, but being able to go out on top. So now as I look at LeBron going into year 20, it's like, shit, man, this is starting to get like, his career is going to be over. I remember back in 03 when he got drafted, like just seeing the way it's gone. And now Steph kind of getting to year 13, 14, these guys, and starting to realize that they have kind of mortality in their careers. Like, at some point, these things are going to end. So for me, it's just kind of taking a step back, appreciating it. Yeah, we're going to talk shit online and go at each other, of course. I think that's just a part of the game.
Have some fun.
But I think some of my closest friends are Warriors fans. Some of my closest friends are MJ fans or whatever it is. So we might disagree on some basketball shit, but I'll have a lot of people I know that'll hate each other over some, like, it's like y'all hate each other over basketball shit, but y'all would agree on like 100 other things and be best friends. And you letting this one thing, because you think Steph's the GOAT or you think LeBron's the GOAT, get in the way of kind of so much other shit. So for me, it's like, don't take this basketball stuff too serious. It is just a game at the end of the day, man, and just, I think, be respectful. And like I said, that's something I've learned a lot. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I wasn't like that back in the day. I've definitely done some asshole shit. But now as I'm older, it's like, all right, man, I'm just appreciating kind of LeBron this last ride. Hopefully he can go do some things and at least, compete and make the playoffs and do some things. But also looking at a Steph and this Warriors team, what they've been able to accomplish for the Bay, you've been out that way, like Oakland, San Francisco, some of my favorite places.
That's a real culture. That's a real following. Those are real passionate fans. I did not think the Warriors were going to win without a big. I didn't think the small ball, like, think about what Nelly incorporated in Oakland and how it's here. Mark Jackson, and now it's just, Steve Kerr. And I'm just shocked at their DNA culture. I'm not shocked at their work and how they built it. But I'm just shocked on how that system has preserved itself to be this. Steph Curry, to me, has moved the game. Yeah. He's on that mount just because he's moved the game. Wilt Chamberlain, the Michael Jordans, the people that reinvent their positions have to be valued and looked at another. You got every motherfucker that's under 6'2" out here shooting. And that's the effect. And that's what I'm talking about, the Steph effect. How he's made every short, I don't want to call people little or bitty and none of that shit, like, you know what I'm saying? But every little man out here who a point guard, two guard, trying to shoot this shit from half court and that, like, that's the effect. And the fact that style has preserved itself and preserving itself to where I look at it like it's almost wearing out or removing the 5.
Yeah, it's wild.
Draymond played the 5. I think Kuminga played the 5. They brought Bellissimi to play the 5. Like, they didn't have no true 5. They switched everything. Like, come on, man. This is, so yeah, I had a moment, sorry.
Nah, it's all good, man.
Is that the future of the league, or do you see it? Like I got a lot of people thinking they going back to back this year.
I'm not going to say all that. I think definitely league moves in cycles. It is crazy for me, especially me, I was undersized, but as much time we spend working on post moves, jump hooks, all that type of stuff, up and unders, mic and drills, all that type of stuff.
That's gone.
It's gone now. And to your point,
move out the league slowly.
Has Steph changed the game? He has, but I don't know if it's a positive, because the problem is all these kids want to shoot like Steph, but they don't want to put in the work like Steph. You go look at these young kids. Back in the day, we was MJ with the armbands and knee pads, but we were shooting fadeaways, whatever. Even that was kind of frowned upon. It's wild when I look at players like yourself or somebody like a Kevin Durant. 25, 30 years ago, Katie, get your big ass in the post. What you think you're doing trying to bring the ball up the court?
All these threes.
Stop practice. No, this is not how this goes. The short guys bring it up, and You know what I mean? But guys like Magic, guys that are trendsetters. So I think Steph has done an amazing job in changing the game and really showing the value of the three-pointer, which is wild to see, obviously. You know, I remember even coming up, my dad, when we would play, you know, one-on-one or whatever, it was, you know, we'd play by ones, but twos were worth 1 and threes were worth 1.5. And it was like a janky-ass way to keep score.
Gotcha.
But it made sense. It wasn't like threes are worth 2. That's not accurate, right? So he would always do things the correct way. But in terms of just the value and importance of it, he wasn't really a big shooter in his day. He played with Nelly in Milwaukee, and I played with Nelly in Golden State. It's kind of where his NBA career ended. But just seeing the way that those squads, even with the, you know, the We Believe Warriors and those type of teams, have experienced some levels of success, but now they're doing that at championship level. Shit is, it's wild to see, because your point, you got Dre and these guys playing 5, and it's not even like there's any mismatch whatsoever, because the other teams don't have a big that can compete like that.
So I'm sitting up here looking at it, yo, and I'm gonna ask a wild-ass question. Are we ready for the 4-point line?
Ooh.
Certified.
Shit.
Are we ready for the 4-point line? Like, at what point does the game move? The game is moving, bro. Let's be honest. The game is moving at a rate where if you're at a 4 or 5 and you can't guard on the switch, you can't be on the floor. If you can't shoot the 3 trailing, you can't be on the floor. So at what point, Dame, hit these niggas from the bye-bye, come on, man. Like, are we ready for the 4-point? Are we ready for the 4-point line?
What's crazy, if you pose that question to social, everybody will tell you crazy, you this, you that, but we got to remember there was a point in time when there wasn't a 3-point line.
Right. And everybody was just getting 2s.
And Chris Jackson was out there averaging 30 pieces.
And Kareem had 35,000 on
with no threes, which is wild. Man, I remember my pops played in Golden State with Manute Bol, his big 7'7" after shooting threes. And it was like the most wild thing I've seen. So I think at some point, it's not something I've ever really considered, but I don't see, you know, it's going to be an interesting thing, but it's like I would have never seen a world where the NFL played 17 games and not 16 games.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But they had 12, they went to 14, they went to 16. You know what I mean? So there's always the ability to change, and I think to your point now, you can't, Steph shoots shots from the logo, they can't just be worth 3 points.
They can't be worth 3s no more, man. He's shooting at you know what I'm saying? Lord, I can see if you 2-3 feet behind him, but you coming up at the logo, your heels on the logo. So that's a 4. That's a 4. It ain't coming down, walking into it like, I'm gonna call you. Yeah. His pickup point, bro, like, I'm in it, bro. So I know when you get a good guard and you got to pick him up and zigzag him and you know, like, I can take a break. Oh, he ain't crossed half yet.
Yeah.
No, that's not even, anyways. The Rockets added a 4-point line in practice. It's coming, bro.
Shit, they need to.
It's coming.
When they go 0 for 28, they need to worry about that 3 first. They get that 3 settled in first, then give me the 4. But I wouldn't. But it's honestly like I think you might be the first person I've ever heard say that, and that's wild. And it's like, I think we're at that point because again, Steph can't be shooting these logo 3s just for 3 points.
Man, KD, who else shoot far? Man, listen, our league is moving at a rate where if we don't start making some of this, I just think that the shot clock, I think at some point the shot clock is going to change. It's already, when you get the rebound, I think it goes to 14. It don't even go back to 24 no more. Exactly. So you can see how they're speeding the game up. Some of these scores are 152s or 149. Like, I'm like, the over and under is fucking 275.
Like, think about it in college.
275, bro.
Motherfucker, college used to play with a 45-second shot clock, right? Then it went to 35. I think now it's at 30, but it was doing the game no good.
It wasn't, because you get 17 passes, right? Like, I'm falling asleep. I hate to say that, man, but yeah.
No, it's true, though.
I watched some college and woke up and been like this, like my neck back there, you know? But I'm just talking about the game moving and moving in that sense. The Euro, the sidestepping, like, just look at the transformation of moves. Anybody that played in the 80s is looking at the moves today like, damn, I'm a Euro in there. I seen Joel Embiid Euro in the post. Yeah. Turn that face in Euro.
It's wild shit, man.
Yeah, man. I'm going into some other shit. I forgot what I was going with all this shit, man. The Olympic rules is what I was going to ask you about. Should you start to apply some of the, you know, with Wilt, they widened the lane out because Wilt was just too active and too long. So
the trapezoid, whatever the fuck that shit.
Man, in the Olympics though, it widens out and then it comes small at the top. So I'm just watching the game and I'm watching it like, wow, the players are really collecting bargaining agreement's gonna move. The TV deal's gonna move. I don't think players gonna be able to do load management like that no more. Like after this collective bargaining agreement, this Zions and this whole deal gonna be different, bro. Ain't nobody gonna pay you for 82 games and you play 30 games.
Which, I mean, it's a wild thing to see. I would love to see him with the international rules of the goaltender. You can smack the ball off the rim.
I love that, actually.
I mean, you know, especially, I think...
It keeps you on your toes while you're in there, you know what I'm saying?
It can bring fives back, too. I think that's a way to really... You got a guy like Rudy Gobert, people like that who could be masters of that type of shit. It'll help keep that position to sustain. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, when we were young, my dad got cut by the Warriors in '89. He finished his career in Italy, and me and my older brother Chris got to go out there, and you know, you hear the story about Kobe and all the other people that were out there, but the way that game was played, and like the talent wasn't there at that point, but I remember we were playing, so he played in a city called Udine, and they had like 4 or 5 like junior, but teams all the way down to my level that were all running organized, synchronized practices, and it was shit you weren't really seeing in America in the AAU style of play. And you know, people ask, is AAU detrimental or whatever? I don't think so, but I think they need to focus more on skill level and skill development, because that's the stuff they were getting off there. They just didn't have the talent, and now you're seeing it. So whatever we want to say, you know, the biggest names in the NBA now, the Embiids, the Doncics, there's all Euros. Like, you know what I mean? Euros, guys from Africa. International players have caught up. I don't think we'll ever get to the point, you know, in our lifetime where they're just dominating in the Olympic level. But, you know, Olympic teams are taking L's now to the Puerto Ricos of the world. You know, we've seen this type of shit.
Nigeria.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So this is now something to be nervous and concerned about, because at the grassroots level, yeah, we have the most talented players in the world, but if we're not educating and cultivating them and getting them to that level now, you know, everybody's not going to be a freak of nature like yourself or like KD or the Stephs, right? But if we focus on that development, we can now take hold. Because a guy like Luka comes in the league 20, 21 years old, he's been playing pro for about 6, 7 years. And I remember, you know, I was on a group chat with a bunch of UCLA guys, Matt, my brother, a bunch of dudes, when LeVar decided to take LaMelo and Jello over to Lithuania. And it was like, yo, is that a good idea? He's gonna miss out on the high school experience or whatever. And it's like, bro, LaMelo don't need all that shit. You know, I've seen Chino Hills, and with, you know, they can go play the best teams in the country. That's not gonna match playing some grown-ass, you know, 32-year-old Lithuanians who are gonna be deboing you and punking you.
And you gotta adjust.
It's 26 degrees in this motherfucker. Like, you gotta start living that pro life now. So I think, you know, I look at the way a guy like a Luka and other people have been able to benefit from that and take that. And even me seeing that as a kid, like 30 years ago in Italy, it's like, yo, it was something to be concerned about, because you come back here and it's just not at that level. They got pro coaches like running the same system as the pro team. We run the same plays that my dad's team was running, and like uniforms, fitted out, whatever. But I think if we want to keep pace and still be the most dominant, you know, basketball country in the world, it's time to get the shit together. Obviously, the AAU stuff, you always get supreme level talent, but really focus on player and skill development. Like, I remember you coming and playing with Paul. That was rare shit, you know what I mean? Nowadays, it's like 10 motherfuckers from 18 different parts of the country on teams with each other. Like, we got you, like, shit. Like, we got KG coming through, like, you know, it was a big deal. It wasn't like a normal thing back then, where now you get these EYBL squads and players will jump 2, 3 teams during a cycle. Man, shit, it's wild to see, but guys got to get tougher, too. I think, you know, my generation is probably the last generation. There's a lot of, like, soft dudes now, you know what I mean? Just get coddled kind of in the coaching. Like, you know, I was blessed to play for Willie West at Crenshaw High for a couple of years early on in my career. And it was 5, 6 hour practices, you know. I remember one day we started practice running like 10 17s. So you couldn't make the 17, you had to run a suicide. You couldn't make the suicide, you had to run it up and down in under 8 seconds. So I was a little bit chunkier back then. And I promise you, I ran every single one of those motherfuckers because I couldn't make any of them. Then we practiced for 4 more hours after that. But that's just kind of the world he was on, where nowadays, it's like these dudes just, you know, dudes ain't scared to get cussed out or, you know, whatever it may be. They just want to be coddled and treated a certain way, where you need that still hard nose. Because a dude like Luka, he don't give a shit about none of that, right? Like, you know, Joker don't give a shit about none of that. Like, I'm growing up in Serbia, like.
And how they being raised in that development, right? Being able to, and then that's too, a mental test too. A lot of kids are not mentally tested or mentally pushed to push through certain things, you know?
They get to the league and it's like, yeah, motherfucker.
I'm relaxed, I'm chilled, I'm
not here to be your friend. I'm here to, like, this is fucking money now. You taking money off my table, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna go at each other.
Facts. What is your feeling on NIL? Are you a fan of it? You like it? You feel it?
I'm a big fan of it. I think if it's done the correct way, you know, I think for far too long, and this is something that's always irked me. I look at somebody like Reggie Bush. I went to UCLA, same time Reggie Bush was at SC.
Okay.
Reggie Bush ran the city, right?
Facts.
You couldn't go anywhere without seeing a 5 SC jersey. The things he was doing, sellouts, the amount of money he made for SC, and then for me to see Reggie get his Heisman taken away, because his parents got a couple $100,000. Meanwhile, school's making millions off of
Millions.
You know, millions upon
TV
millions.
deals, coach got a deal, the quarterback goddamn fired too.
Like Nike feeder school, all that stuff. So even
crazy.
We were in college, like, you know, you'd basically be the poster child for these, you know, Adidas, whoever. When I was at UCLA, Adidas sponsored us. And it's like, how did, you know, and I would always say it from my perspective, I wasn't playing that much then, but how are the best dudes on the team? They can't, you know, I'd play with guys that had no money to go on dates, whatever it may be. Had to circumvent and do janky shit, sell shoes, sell tickets, whatever we had to do to get by. I'm not snitching on nobody. This is hypothetical.
That's real
but
talk, though. That shit go
hypothetically,
on, though. That shit
like,
go on, right?
Like, we love getting to the tournament because you got 6 tickets. Like, motherfucker, you know, you see the names on that list, they're not friends and family. Like, you know, we was getting them things off. But just, you know, to see what these guys have now and the opportunity, but I just think it needs to be, you know, police, not even police per se, but just it needs to be monitored correctly. But a school like UCLA, there's no excuse now for a school like UCLA to not have the best football and basketball team given our strong alumni base and the amount of bread these people have. The problem now becomes with schools across the country, a lot of those schools used to be able to just take that money and keep it for themselves, right? So now how do you break that up and now break the players off? How do you determine this player gets this player gets that? I'm seeing guys like quarterbacks getting $9, $10 million deals, and I can't knock it, right?
Right.
And everybody said, well, what about, you know, how are these kids gonna feel about this, that, whatever? I think the same way the coaches feel. Like Coach K was making like $9, $10 million. You can't tell me his players don't deserve at least 500 grand a mil, whatever it is, if he's gonna get that 10 mil. So for me, it's frustrating to see some of these coaches out there trying to act like these dudes don't deserve it, or see, you know, players start to go to Jackson State and play with Deion because they're now getting the same value they can get at other spots, and you got power conference schools getting mad about that. Like, it's bullshit. Like, you know, I mean, schools like, I look at Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, that whole kind of battle or whatever, mad that other schools are not able to compete. Like, you tell me Alabama wasn't breaking players off, this is just a new thing? Like, this shit's been going on forever. So I think there's a way to level the playing field, also add more scholarships. Like, I think the men's, I don't know if it's changed, but when I was in school, we got 13 scholarships. The women's basketball team got 15 because of Title IX. And what you really have is universities denying people educations, right? Then they have the money to pay for this shit, right? They have the resources to make this shit happen. They just choose not to. So, like, how are you going to deny people the ability to get a free college education because you got some set limit of scholarships you can give out? So really creating opportunities for these kids to be able to go to school for free and get the value that they deserve. So I'm rocking with it. I think obviously it's still in kind of its infant stage. It's like the Wild Wild West now. Some states are more regulated than others, but eventually we'll get a handle on it. And, you know, hopefully create some more parity too across college. And create some more, you know, it's kind of like, I don't want to say I'm not a fan of salary caps either, but if there's a way that schools, the smaller schools can get taken care of too, so they can have a chance to try and compete as well.
So we're talking about the game moving.
Yeah.
Right? And I think I threw out there, we just talked about NIL. How long or how far are we from colleges re-signing or extending their players so that they can exit, or some of these kids, or losing these kids to the G League, or losing these kids to the Spanish and China League, and also to the NBA. I think it's going to become a situation where a school like Kentucky or some of the bigger schools, or any schools, I believe, have the ability to extend someone 2 more years, 3 more years to make the roster a little more continuity. Some kids, if you told them if they weren't going to be a high pick, I don't think some of these kids will leave college.
Yeah, which is...
How far are we from that?
It's a fucked up world because you don't know who's giving these kids information. Everybody thinks they're going lottery, and you know that's a tough thing to watch.
You can't.
But as you watch that draft, right?
How are you thinking that though?
And it's like, yeah, you're gonna be top 30. You know, you're gonna get drafted the first round, and you know it's about pick 39. You still ain't heard your name. Pick 45, then you sign in 2-way deals or whatever. So I think it's tough because with the G League Ignite and Overtime Elite, I think they offer a more NBA style, you know, regimen in terms of how you're gonna move, where you got some college coaches that are still stuck in the past trying to run bullshit offenses that don't translate to the league.
That's gonna have to shift. You know why? Because ain't gonna be it's not a product anymore. The product is different. And I feel like in order to be in that competition and be moving like that, overtime is only relevant because it's moving with the times. It's having the solution. Here you are, as a university, you don't want to come off your square off what you usually do with the times. You got to download the latest. This is where we are, right?
Yeah. So
I want to ask that question. How far you think we from that though? When colleges start re-signing players to another 4 years?
Shit, I think we're getting close to that. Honestly, right now, when you look at the schools like Kentucky, schools that have the bread to do it, if you're a top recruit and it's not looking like you're gonna get drafted, why wouldn't I come back to Kentucky and make another $500 to $1 million?
See, that's what I'm saying.
And be a god on campus.
I think when you have a chance to re-sign these players, I think the bread should change. Because now you're graduated, you know. Can you imagine what campus looks like now? Cars everywhere, agents everywhere.
Well, shit, when I was at UCLA, between us and SC, like Scalabrini over at SC, Jeff Trepanier, we had like 5, 6 guys with Escalades, all on 22s to 24s, because those were the things back in the day. And nobody asked really how they got it. However they got it, they got it. But I was always happy for those guys because I felt like they deserved that shit, and they deserve to feel like that when they're on campus.
No doubt.
So I've heard stuff like back in the day, I want to say like Florida or somewhere, everybody got like a scooter. Just simple things like that entice you. It's the same thing in the league, right? Some teams or franchises take care of players better than other teams, give them perks and things that make them want to, you know, be on that squad. So college is no different. You know what I mean? Again, I'm a big fan of UCLA. Just that world of culture. For my money, there's no better school in the world. But now it's time for UCLA to step up to the plate, right? Because you're competing with these other schools who are throwing all this crazy bread at kids.
Love it.
But you know, like you coming out here in the summertime to hoop on, like, you know summers in LA, and I can't speak for New York, Chicago, whatever, but summertime in LA from a basketball, you know, we was going from about 7, 8 a.m. to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Then you're hitting the clubs at night, getting turned up, obviously in moderation, but great weather, just obviously, you know, the scenery on UCLA in springtime is very appealing, obviously, to to players that come through. That's kind of one of the big selling points, but...
Quad jumping out here, you know what I'm saying?
It's cracking, you know what I'm saying? It's cracking, but for my money, there's no better time and no better place. That's why so many guys, from wherever they're at, they'll come migrate to LA in the summertime just because that summer basketball vibe. I think about the real run back in the day at Veterans Park in Carson and the Drew League, obviously, the Joe Weekly League, which a lot of people don't realize was kind of the predecessor to all this type of stuff over at Crenshaw way back in the day. But just what this stuff means for the city, for the community, and the game of basketball out here.
People come to you now because you are the king of Twitter. You're getting a lot of different bags and activating everybody's brand. Talk about that whole business and how you had to adjust to it.
Yeah, for sure. When you look at social media in general, man, and this is something I really try to tell kind of some of these young kids as they're just figuring out, you know, how they're gonna move in life. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, billions of dollars. Like, you know, and for a long time, they were jacking the culture and not really rewarding the culture. You weren't seeing the culture at a lot of companies at high level, C-suite. You weren't seeing all that type of stuff. So even for me, I kind of got fed up and tired with it. And that's kind of why I just went on my own route. Because even me, I see the way that brands move and the way brands try to emulate my style. And it's like, you'll never really be able to capture it because you haven't had the experiences that I've had. And this is something that I also tell these kids, like, you got to have experiences in life, man. You got to go out to the club, go to concerts, listen to music, just do things, watch a ton of TV, whatever it is, and know what's going on. That's why I have the library that I have. You know, when I was a kid, I consumed so much TV and read my dad's scripts and go on movie sets with him and be at the club and doing all that kind of stuff. Have that work-life balance, right? Hoop is the most important thing, but interacting, engaging, just meeting people, having conversations, traveling, doing as much stuff as you can to get those life experiences. So, you know, there's like a lot of 20-some-year-old kids in social. I'm 40 now, but I have, you know, 20 more years of experience over them for the things that we're doing. They're just shit that they haven't seen, that I've seen everything they've seen, and I've seen everything that I've seen too. So I have that kind of leg up, but I see it as just a big industry, especially for black men and women, that we dominate. Like, you know, Black Twitter basically built Twitter, if we're gonna be real.
Real shit.
Like, you know, even...
Papa should fucking be playing a residual to fucking Black Twitter.
For the shit, I mean...
Straight up.
And even with the memes, the communication, all that stuff, and so many of these kids will come up with such great content and get jacked by companies not even realize.
Don't even know the business.
Don't even know it. And for me, I had to learn a lot of that too, and I started to see kind of what some of these advertising deals were like, some of these branded deals were like, what you can get for a branded campaign. And it's like, oh shit, like, you know, I work on the TV side too. I've done a lot of writing and producing and been blessed to work on that stuff, done some stuff with Ava DuVernay, did a show with Michael Starrett and Colin Kaepernick for Netflix. And I used to think those bags were like the best bags I'd ever seen in life. Then I started doing some live tweets and doing some branded campaigns. And it's like, damn, you're gonna pay me this just to do this? This is like 5 minutes of work for me. But it's like that 10,000 hours thing. It took me years and years and years to get to that level. So now 10 minutes of work for me might be 10,000 for somebody else. But really kind of learning that side of it and just seeing the game. And brands all want to tap into the culture. Obviously, NBA, basketball.
Everybody.
That's my main bread and butter. But like I said, I can do NFL stuff. I do stuff with Premier Lacrosse League. I've done some stuff with NASCAR even. But everybody I deal with is always like, look, I'm here to amplify you're black athletes, you're black talent. Like, I'm not really a NASCAR guy, but I'll rock with Bubba Wallace and MJ23, kind of, you know, for all that good stuff. Or if it's lacrosse, like, all right, let me see who, you know, the cross league, I'll do some stuff with Premier Lacrosse. Man, they got this kid, Miles Jones, who's about 6'5", 270. Used to hoop with, like, Tobias Harris back in the day, went to Duke. And he could be a linebacker, he could do 100 different things, but one of the best players in the league.
Say word.
And I grew up in LA, we didn't have lacrosse. Right. When the league came to me like, yo, we want you to do something. I'm gonna be like, look, I don't know much about this shit, but I like how you guys are embracing the culture and how you're doing it the right way. So I'm gonna jump on with you guys and really see what I can do and learn the sport. And I feel like even just kind of being opened up, like your ass could be out there dominating, you know what I mean? If you just, but where I grew up, we didn't know about this shit. Right. We didn't have no lacrosse. Like,
it's East Coast thing,
yeah,
right?
Definitely. Like East Coast kind of, you know, you gotta have a little bread. I think they're doing a lot of stuff now to serve, really help underserved communities.
Say word.
But you know, all these type of sports, like my dad was coming up, baseball was the thing, but the thing that separates basketball from all this shit, right, is that all you need is a ball, right? You know, you could come in some jeans, whatever, you need a ball and a hoop. It's a lot easier to get into that sport. But I translate that to kind of everything going on in the social media world, man. This shit is a humongous business, so that's the thing. I don't want all the money, right? I want my good slice of the pie, but I want to be able to help other people. So, I mean, anybody who knows me knows they can reach out, ask me questions, ask me whatever. I have so many people now, and it warms my heart because they're getting deals now too. It's like, hey, this brand's offering me this for that, and it's like, no, you can double or triple that.
I was going to ask you, do you consult? You know, when young people come to you for advice, and I heard you say a couple of times you give advice, like, you know, a lot of people coming to you trying to get like an idea or get a script or something to kind of follow it or something?
So I feel like I'm an OG now, which is crazy for me to say, but when I was younger, I had so many people that looked out for me, people that were willing to help me, people that did so much for me, right, that I'm still close with, and you gotta pay it forward. So for me, I feel like I'll be doing myself a disservice to not help these kids. But the one thing I try to tell everybody who comes to me, right, don't ask me no shit you can Google. Right. That's not what I'm here for. Don't ask me some shit that you can, how do
Find out yourself.
How can I get an 8?
That's
like,
just being lazy.
Yeah, that's you lazy as fuck right now. Like, do the due diligence, do the work. Right. And once you've reached a certain point, you respect now, like, oh, okay, this brand just reached out to me to do a branded deal. How much should I charge them? So, all right, what do your numbers look like? What's your engagements? What's your engagement rate? What's your percentages? This is what it looks like. I would charge them in this ballpark. And then it's like whole firm. Like I've found, it's funny, man, I move and shake now, and you might crack up, but I move like a rich white man. That's how I move in corporate. So here's my price. I'm not coming down off of it. I may not get the job, but I'm not coming down. And you'd be surprised more times than not, I'll be like, yo, let me add like 30, 40% just to be, you know, just to see.
Absolutely.
And I'll get that deal down. Because when I was younger, man, it was always like, I would lowball myself. Like, I'll come in like, oh, I can just do it for this. And motherfuckers would laugh in my face, like, I'm not gonna pay you that. Where now it's like, you gotta come in with a like Ferrari or Porsche type mentality. The value is here, because I know I'm gonna make 2 to 3 times as much for you if I do it. So, but it's a hard game to be in. And I went freelance probably like 4 or 5 years ago. Definitely suffered for a little bit, but now I'm at a great spot. And like you said, people call me the king of this, king of that. I don't believe in titles or believe that hype, man. I just work. Like, at the end of the day, like, I just gotta work every day. And that shit I learned early on, playing with that and the fucking K-Swiss Pacers or whatever. Just like, we don't believe none of that shit. Just keep working, grinding, and, you know, ultimately I'll know once I'm at that point where, you know, I can really sit back and kick my feet up and relax. But until then, man, every single day, I treat it like, you know, like shit, this shit can all go away. I've seen the other side not working. I've seen the other side not having bread, like, you know, as an adult. And it's like, shit, I don't want to go back to that life. So whatever I can do every single day, I'm going to do it to ensure that that don't happen. So my kids can get taken care of, their kids, and kind of just keep that legacy going.
This is just certified. Just got the news that John Wall just got bought out of a Rockets contract and is going to the Clippers. Woo. And I got to ask you, what do you anticipate being the biggest move in this year's free agency?
For me, I just hope the Lakers can do something, man. LeBron going into year 20.
Man, AD got to be in super shape. AD, what camera I'm looking at? This one? If I'm talking to AD right now, bro, get lost. Go to Hawaii somewhere. Straight up and down. When you come into camp better in shape than anybody and everybody. That's what you should be focused on. You should go for the MVP for the 2022-23 season. All Celtics fans gonna hate me for saying that, but I'm your OG, and that's what I think. Feel me? I'm still Celtics for life, still C's for life, still Soda for life, still Brooklyn for life. But that's my OG advice to AD. If he not doing that, it's his turn to carry the torch. Bron not carried this motherfucker for a whole decade and then some. It's the only reason he came to LA, right?
Yep.
AD came to the Lakers to be an MVP and to take the torch from bro and carry it. So this is what we on.
AD, listen to your OG. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say.
That shit killed me, bro. He said he ain't touched a rock. I ain't gonna do that. But
touch a rock, AD, please.
Not even touch a rock. But go back and watch yourself. Real shit. And be real with yourself. Watch it by yourself. Be real with yourself. Go in the lab and get your shit right. There's no way he's probably not top 10, top 5 in this game. Come on, man. That's all I'm gonna say, because I'm gonna start getting heat. I feel myself sweating already. But real shit, man.
That's why we rock with you. That's why you are who you are. That's why you have the respect that you have.
Watching that, man. He can be so much better than what he is. And, you know, I don't know what's around him, but yeah, I would love to be able to work with somebody like that. I can't wait to see. Oh, man. I'm actually looking forward to that influence on him, because he can be MVP of the league, man. He should be MVP of the league one time. He that good.
And we love to see. I mean, he missed 40 games last year.
Come on, man.
And everybody, I think, bashes Westbrook, and it's like, yo, how's this, you know, but sees it on paper, it's like this squad didn't develop any chemistry. How you gonna bash Russ when AD didn't play 40 games? And you never knock somebody for injury, but I'm just saying that squad was not whole for literally half the season. So hopefully Lakers get somebody. John Wall, I would have came to purple gold, but I get it. Clippers gonna be a great squad too. Just somebody got to thwart the Warriors. That's the most important thing, man. I don't care who it is.
John Wall said got some?
What?
John Wall said got some?
I think he made the right move. The Clippers is a good spot for him, but somebody got to get with these Warriors. They've been talking too much, and that's it. Somebody got to get with them.
I don't know
Warriors
what y'all
fans, you know.
About. Hey, man, Champ got something to say. Champ go say it.
Yeah.
Champ got something to say. Champ go say it.
And that's real. But yeah, no. But all love to all the squad. I mean, I hope obviously everybody just stay healthy and whatever ends up happening. Obviously, Kyrie in Brooklyn, that situation works out. Lakers, Darvin make Darvin Ham look good. We need more black coaches in the league.
Gosh, we do. And opportunity in that. 30 years anniversary of the most famous scene in The White Man Can't Jump. Your pops played it, you know. Shout to him going, you know, when I come back, I'm going to get my gun. I'm going to shoot every motherfucker out here like, yo, one of my favorite.
I mean, it's funny, man. I go back and look, and I remember, you know, when he got that role, he was a method actor, so he was literally in character as Raymond for like a good 3 months around the house.
Say word.
Janky ass, not shaved, like, but just, you know, constantly, and he was such a perfectionist. What a lot of people don't know about my dad, everybody remembers him, my dad's Marcus Johnson too, everybody remembers him from White Man Can't Jump.
Shout to Dad.
5-time All-Star, you know, Naismith Hall of Fame finalist, we're trying to get him over the top. So we need y'all love and support.
Nah,
but he was
been in that motherfucker. He a beast.
He was a theater arts major at UCLA, so he was doing this shit at a young age. I remember when we moved to Italy after he got cut by the Warriors, we had a little camcorder, and we would go to all these historic spots and make rap videos and movies and all types of just crazy shit.
Dope.
But so to see the impact, and really he's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing in the entertainment space and why I'm here being so successful. But to see the impact that movie's had now 30 years later, to this day, and I'll still throw that clip out, you know, there's nothing makes me happier than when I got an opportunity to meet my dad and drop a clip, drop the iconic scene from that movie.
That's dope.
But I remember as a kid being at the premiere, you know, first time watching the joint, and seeing the way the whole theater just lost their shit, how crazy they went. And he was on the movie for maybe 3-4 minutes, but to this day, still, you know, he's Raymond from White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah.
I know they're coming out with another version of it, a reboot. They need to go ahead and get him a call or hit me. Like, I'm available, I'm ready to do whatever.
You gonna play young Raymond?
Yeah, let me do it.
Raymond's son?
Easy to work with. You know, I'll be on time most of the time. You know, basic stuff, but to see the impact that film had, and the crazy part about it is we all look at it as a basketball movie, right? When really it was a rom-com.
Word, it was.
Like Ron Shelton, that was his whole thing.
Straight
Bull
up.
Durham, all these movies. And it's really, you know, the Billy and Gloria love interest, and that's the real story behind it. But the basketball was just so iconic. And I think about just all the legends that made the film. Shout out to Freeman Williams, who passed away recently. You know, the King and Duck scene, you know, for those that don't know, learn some basketball history. Right. Really look up Freeman and what his contributions to the game were. But just to see the impact that thing has had now 3 decades later, and, you know, it helped set up. So Ron Shelton did White Man Can't Jump. He did Blue Chips, too. Okay. So Pops was in both of those. And Blue Chips, kind of same thing, more of a rom-com, but still, you know, the basketball in that movie was so iconic because them dudes were playing. They was playing real game. Yeah, the education in that, too. A lot of people don't know that White Man Can't Jump was like, people viewed that as Venice basketball. It was that's really what it was based off of, you know, and West Coast basketball. And then when you went into Blue Chips, it's really getting into the business of
It was really the traditional backyard business and the underlinings of how it really went. That's stuff that you can watch and feel like you learn something. To me, are the best movies.
Yeah, for sure.
We can sit here and point out, or you can put it in a fictional, not even fictional, but fantasy or how you want something. What would be next for you? What do you want to conquer next?
So when I look at like, the Bleacher Reports or Waves or companies I've had the opportunity to work with, I want to start my own shit.
On channel,
Just on network. I think ultimately I do a lot of stuff in the scripted space, so that's great. But to leverage that, it's really just building a brand. I look at somebody like a Tyler Perry and what he's been able to accomplish and what he's been able to build. And people used to shit on Tyler Perry, and whatever it is, whatever you feel about his writing style, the quality of his content is irrelevant. He's got like 15 TV shows on, and for anybody who's worked on that side, it's hard as fuck to get. I got one on, and it ain't been back since, right? I mean, that shit is not easy. At any time, you got 10 to 15 of them things moving. So, but it's really understanding who your demo is, understanding how to reach them, understanding the content that they want to see, man. So that's kind of something that I've always really wanted to do. I mean, I'm in a great spot now financially where I'm gonna have the ability and creative freedom to do it. And I'm just so impressed by kind of this next generation that's coming up, man. There's so many intelligent, talented people, like, the TikTokers, all these.
Yeah.
I grew up in a world, you did too, where like celebrities were the movie stars.
Yeah.
Now anybody can become a celebrity, right?
Right, facts. Not even that, but you can have a niche. Influencers are powerful these days.
Shit.
They don't even realize it.
Like I've seen, like I did some work with Davis. Literally working, frying chicken at a KFC to now appearing in movies and doing stuff. But he went and grinded. He did it his own way, and you learn a lot more like that. That shit is tough, man. Even doing the social stuff, people see where I'm at now. But you go back and look at the shit I was posting a couple of years ago. I was getting packed up fairly routinely. Tomatoes, like I said, cancer wishes. This shit is the worst shit I ever seen. Hope you die, like all types of shit. And you're either gonna sink or swim in that situation. Same for hoops. Like you're either gonna sink or swim. If you let that shit get to you, then it's gonna be the end of you. But I'm the type of human being, like if I quit, who's gonna give a fuck, right? Nobody wants to hear the story about the motherfucker who quit complaining about how shit didn't work out for him. Like your friends and family, they love you, they may listen to that shit, but ultimately it's gonna come to a point where, all right, stop talking to me about that shit. I don't wanna hear why you couldn't succeed, right? Like tell me why, despite all that shit, you still did what you needed to do.
What you gonna call your channel?
Oh, I don't know yet. I gotta keep that. I'm working. Yeah, I've been throwing some different ideas around, man. But for me now, like I've been talking to some investors and kind of figuring that side of it out, learning that whole game. But I just feel like there's a tremendous opportunity and so much young, like just talented motherfuckers out there. People don't even know how talented they are.
Yes.
And that's a great thing now about being in this world, man. Like people can go and create a whole following on social and now leverage that. Like, when I was first getting in this game, if I would've went to some of these companies like, yo, this is what I wanna do, they would've laughed in my face. Now those same companies, throw money at me and beg me to, come teach their employees how to, unlock the code. But it's like, nah, I can't give you guys all the,
Love it.
I can't give you the entire recipe. I can give you some ingredients and kind of, some breadcrumbs, but ultimately I'm not gonna, cause then you're gonna phase me out, shit.
Nah, you can't phase you out. You got your own originality and I love it, man. Keep doing what you do, man. Anytime you want to come back, man, we should build on some shit too, man. Straight up. I'm working on a lot of stuff that you probably parallel doing, so yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming through, dog.
Appreciate
my dog, man. Hey, and that's certified. Salute.
I came here because my choice was simple: live or die.
My species is dying.
Why are you telling me this?
You are vital to the mission.
Go. Take him. Now.